A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Random House Audio presents Star Wars: Outbound Flight by Timothy Zahn. Read for you by Jonathan Davis. The light freighter Bargain Hunter moved through space, silver gray against the blackness, the light of the distant stars reflecting from its hull. "Hang on!" Dubrak Kento barked over the straining roar of the engines. "Here it comes again!" Clenching his teeth firmly together to keep them from chattering, Jorus C'baoth got a grip on his seat's armrest with one hand as he finished punching coordinates into the nav computer with the other. Just in time. The Bargain Hunter jinked hard to the left as a pair of brilliant green blaster bolts burned past the bridge canopy. "C'baoth!" Kento called. "Snap it up, kid!" I'm snapping! C'baoth called back, resisting the urge to point out that the outmoded nav equipment was Kento's property, not his. "Can't we just talk to them?" "Terrific idea," Kento bid out. "Be sure to compliment Proga on his fairness and sound business sense. That always works on Hutts." The last word was punctuated by another cluster of blaster shots, this group closer than the last. "Rack, the engines can't hold this speed forever," Maris Farazi warned from the co-pilot seat, her dark hair flashing with green highlights every time a shot went past. "Doesn't have to be forever," Kento said with a grunt. "Just till we have some numbers. C'baoth!" On C'baoth's board, a light winked on. "Ready!" he called, punching the numbers over to the pilot station. "It's not a very long jump, though." He was cut off by a screech from somewhere aft, and the flashing blaster bolts were replaced by flashing star lines as the Bargain Hunter shot into hyperspace. C'baoth took a deep breath, let it out silently. "This is not what I signed up for," he muttered to himself. Barely 6 standard months after signing on with Kento and Maris, this was already the second time they had to run for their lives from someone. And this time, it was a Hutt they'd frizzled. Kento, he thought darkly, had a genuine talent for picking his fights. "You okay, Jorus?" C'baoth looked up, blinking away a drop of sweat that had somehow found its way into his eye. Maris was swiveled around in her chair, looking back at him with concern. "I'm fine," he said, wincing at the quavering in his voice. "Of course he is," Kento assured Maris as he also turned around to look at their junior crewer. "Those shots never even got close." The star lines collapsed back into stars, and C'baoth keyed for a full sensor scan, and jerked as a salvo of blaster shots sizzled past the canopy. Kento barked a short expletive. "What the frizz?" "He followed us," Maris said, sounding stunned. "And he's got the range," Kento snarled, as he threw the Bargain Hunter into another series of stomach-twisting evasive maneuvers. "C'baoth, get us out of here!" "Trying!" C'baoth called back, fighting to read the computer displays as they bounced and wobbled in front of his eyes. There was no way it was going to calculate the next jump before even Kento's luck ran out, and the fuming Hutt back there finally connected. But if C'baoth couldn't find a place for them to go, maybe he could find all the places for them not to go. The sky directly ahead was full of stars, but there was plenty of empty black between them. Picking the biggest of the gaps, he punched the vector into the computer. "Try this one," he called, keying it to Kento. "What do you mean, try?" Maris asked. The freighter rocked as a pair of shots caught it squarely on the aft deflector. "Never mind," Kento said, before C'baoth could answer. He punched the board, and once again, the star lines lanced out and faded into the blotchy hyperspace sky. Maris exhaled in a huff. That was too close. Okay, so maybe he is mad at us, Kento conceded. Now, like Maris said, kid, what do you mean, try this one? I didn't have time to calculate a proper jump, Cardass explained, so I just aimed us into an empty spot with no stars. Kento swiveled around. You mean an empty spot with no visible stars? He asked ominously. An empty spot with no collapsed stars? Or pre-star dark masses? Or something hidden behind dust clouds? That kind of empty spot? He waved a hand toward the canopy. And out toward the unknown regions on top of it. We don't have enough data in that direction for him to have done a proper calculation anyway, Mara said, coming unexpectedly to Cardass's defense. That's not the point, Kento insisted. No, the point is that he got us away from Proga, Mara said. I think that deserves at least a thank you. Kento rolled his eyes. Thank you, he said. Such thanks to be rescinded if and when we run through a star you didn't see, of course. I think it's more likely the hyperdrive will blow up first, Cardass warned. Remember that nullifier problem I told you about? I think it's getting... He was cut off by a wailing sound from beneath them, and with a lurch, the bargain hunter leapt forward like a jiffa on a scent. Running hot! Kento shouted, spinning back to his board. Maris, shut her down! Trying! Maris called back over the wailing as her fingers danced across her board. Control lines are looping. Can't get a signal through. It took Kento over 4 hours to find a way to shut down the runaway hyperdrive without slagging it. During that time, Cardass offered his help 3 times, and Maris offered hers twice. All the offers were summarily refused. Sometime during the first hour, as near as Cardass could figure from the readings tumbling across the displays, they left the relatively well-known territory of the Outer Rim, passing into a shallow section of the far less well-known territory known as Wild Space. Sometime early in the 4th hour, they left even that behind and crossed the hazy line into the unknown regions. At which point, where they were, or what exactly they were flying into, was anyone's guess. But at last the wailing faded away, and a few minutes later, the hyperspace sky collapsed into star lines and then into stars. Maris, Kento's voice called from the comm panel. We're out, she confirmed. Running a location check now. I'll be right there, Kento said. Wherever we are, we're a long way from home, Cardass murmured. The computer was still sifting data when Kento reappeared on the bridge. Cardass had made sure to be back at his own station by then. Nice cluster, the big man commented as he dropped into his seat. Any systems nearby? Closest one's about a quarter light year directly ahead, Mara said, pointing. Kento grunted and punched at his board. Let's see if we can make it, he said. There was a screech, more genteel than the sound from the bargain hunter's main hyperdrive, and the stars stretched out into star lines. Silently, Cardass counted off the seconds to himself, fully expecting the backup hyperdrive to crash at any time. But it didn't, and after a few tense minutes, the star lines collapsed again to reveal a small yellow sun directly ahead. There we go, Kento said approvingly. All the comforts of home. You figure out yet where we are, Maris? Computer's still working on it, Maris said. But it looks like we're about 250 light years into unknown space. There was a twitter from the comm. We're being hailed, Cardass reported, frowning as he keyed it on. He threw a look at the visual displays, searching for their unknown caller, and felt his whole body go rigid. Kento! He snapped. It's... He was cut off by a deep rumbling chuckle from the comm.
So, Dobrak Kento.
An all-too-familiar voice rumbled in Huttese.
You think to escape me so easily?
You call that easy? Kento muttered as he keyed his transmitter. Oh, hi, Proga. Look, like I told you before, I can't let you have these
Sample complete. Ready to continue?